Hey guys, welcome to this week's review of Married to Medicine Reunion Part 2. Now, the episode starts off where it did not last week's episode, but 2 weeks ago, with Quad announcing for some reason that Contessa and Scott are separating. Which was weird to me because why is Quad making this announcement, right? Why is Contessa referring to the other ladies to speak on what's going on in her own marriage? And I've noticed that Contessa does have a habit of doing this, right? She's letting the other ladies sort of speak for her. And I do believe that the reason she's doing that is because she's trying to protect her husband. She's not happy with the situation, but she doesn't want to be the one to completely dog him out, right? So she's relying heavily on the other ladies to kind of sort of maybe validate what she's going through, and at the same time sort of absolve her of the responsibility of being the one to call him out, because she is trying to protect him, right? Because I do have a feeling that there is a lot more that Scott is doing that she's not speaking on, right? That she may have spoke with the other ladies about, that they know about, but they're also trying to protect her and her marriage, right? And I just don't think it's a good idea to do that, because you're putting the other ladies in an awkward position, because it does seem like they have a relationship between Scott and Contessa, right? And they do want their marriage to work. So bringing other people into your marriage is just not a good look for everybody, right? It puts everybody in an awkward position. So Scott is pissed by Quad's announcement and he wants to leave. But Curtis does talk some sense into him and says, listen, if you leave now, you're gonna kind of look cuckoo crazy, right? Because this is national television, and we're only gonna get Contessa's side of the story, and we're not gonna get yours, and you're gonna look like the bad guy. So just hang around, right? Relax, so that you can have the opportunity to speak your side. So Scott decides to stay, and he storms the stage, kind of confronting Contessa like, hey, what? We're getting separated? And Contessa's like, hello, you knew about this. We talked about this. You know that we have issues in our relationship, right? And I do believe Contessa. But after that whole scene, I think Eugene made a great point of it wasn't necessarily the news of them separating. It was the fact that Quad delivered that information, right? Because it makes it seem like you're kind of plotting and scheming behind his back with the other ladies on the show. That's why I feel like it should have came from Contessa, so she could have explained the situation better with more nuance, versus it coming from Quad, who, because she's not directly involved, although I think she definitely is emotionally involved, that she does care about both of them, she can deliver the information more, frankly or bluntly, and she does miss some of the nuance, right? Where if Contessa delivered the message, maybe she could have worded it a little bit better. But even then, right, I'm not going to put this on Contessa, right? I'm going to put a lot of this on Scott. It's like your house is on fire, right? And the firefighter comes and says, okay, we need to get the hose and spray the house down with water to stop the fire. And you're like, oh, no, I don't want the water to damage my house while your house is on fire. But then at the same time saying, I want to save my house. That's a terrible analogy, but you get what I mean, right? You have a problem in your marriage. You say you want to save the marriage, right? Your partner is telling you, in order to save that marriage, let's go to therapy so we can learn how to better communicate with each other. We can learn how to have disagreements and not have it get toxic. But then you're saying, no, I don't want to do that. So it just seems to me that Scott is communicating, I want to be married, but I don't want things to change. I want things to remain the same. And that's just not working. It's not working for Contessa. She is not happy, right? But he doesn't want to make that change. He's happy with how things are. And I think part of the reason why he's happy with how they are is because he benefits with it from that, right? She does say when they argue, they take low blows. And I don't know. I don't want to assume because I'm not in their relationship. But what I am getting is that maybe it's more of Scott, that Scott crosses boundaries, whether it's in the way that he speaks to her or whether it's with flirting with other women, because he even admitted that, in social media, Instagram, he would get photos and things like that in his DM and he would respond. Not necessarily that he would do anything with these ladies, but he would give them that time of day. So what I get from Scott, he's that person that will continually cross boundaries. And he wants to be able to do that. He wants to have his cake and eat it too, essentially. And Contessa just puts up with it. She tolerates it because of what she grew up in, right? In a chaotic home. She's just trying so hard to keep her family together in the present. She doesn't want to get a divorce. But at the end of the day, if someone is not respecting you, someone can love you, but if they're not treating you right, then that's irrelevant. And he doesn't even want to change. He just acts like there's nothing wrong and he's completely oblivious. So at the end of the day, what can you do, right? So after there's that scene, they go backstage, Contessa's she's having a hard time. And Jackie, right? Jackie is kind of held up as the mother of the group, right? The wise one. Everybody comes to her. But when they want advice, but I don't know, with Jackie, with the whole situation with Buffy and how she kind of made an announcement to a group of people that Buffy was infertile, to even this situation with Contessa, it's just, I get it. Sometimes you're in situations and you don't want people's advice. You don't want people to tell you what to do, especially in Contessa's perspective. When you felt like you have done everything, you have been the one sticking your neck out there, you have been the one trying to make it work. The last thing you want to do is to have someone give you advice, on your relationship. Like, Jackie is just so annoying, right? Because I don't even know what she was trying to say. Oh, stop complaining, Contessa, because you're manifesting it. No, she's not manifesting it. There are issues in a relationship and she's having a breakdown. Instead of telling her what to do in this moment, give her a hug. Just be there for her as a friend, right? I feel like the cast, they try to get too much involved in the other people's relationships, right? And try to tell them what to do. And at the end of the day, it's between that person and their partner. The most you can do is just, give them a hug. Give them a hug, empathize with them. Let them know that they're not the only one that is going through issues in their marriage, that they're not alone. And that's the best that you can do, because at the end of the day, it's up to Contessa and Scott to figure it out. And another thing I want to comment on, I know people want to see marriages work. You don't want to see people get divorced. But I also feel like if a marriage or relationship is toxic, maybe it is for the best for them to be apart. I'm not saying that you should encourage them to get a divorce, but I don't think you should encourage them to stay together either, right? If you clearly see that someone is constantly breaking down, constantly crying, that they're depressed, I don't think you should encourage that relationship, especially if you see the other partner not wanting to get therapy, not wanting to change. I don't think you should encourage them to continue to be in the same situation if it's not healthy, right? I don't want to see my friends suffer just for the sake of saving a marriage if the marriage is just toxic to begin with. One more thing I will say, I really like that Contessa and Toya were able to bond. They've always had their back and forth, but it was just really lovely to see that they could put their petty aside. And Toya was able to connect with Contessa because she wasn't trying to judge her. She wasn't trying to tell her what to do. She really had her back in that scenario. So I love to see that from Toya. I love to see that from Contessa. And Contessa is a gorgeous woman. Can I just say that? She's absolutely stunning. Can I just say this? I love Simone's teeth. I love her overbite. That's what makes Simone Simone. If she would change that, her face would look completely different and she wouldn't be Simone anymore. I kind of hate how everybody has this pressure to have these perfectly straight kind of, I don't want to say donkey teeth. Okay, horse teeth. No, let me not say that. Let me not be rude. But I don't know, it's like everybody now feels the need to conform and have the same look, from their teeth to their body type to their face with these filters from, Instagram and Snapchat filters. It's like everybody's morphing into the same face, the same body. The things that maybe are a bit off or different, that's what makes you you. That's what makes you unique. And in my opinion, that's what makes you beautiful. Not everybody has to be the same, right? So I just want to say that as a disclaimer. I love Simone's look. I think Simone is a beautiful woman. I think that lavender dress looks absolutely gorgeous on her skin. Even though, there may be some issues with the outfit. The color looks amazing. Let's just say that. And her makeup looks amazing. Let's talk about Heavenly, right? I wouldn't be friends with Heavenly either. I think I would be acquaintances with Heavenly. Heavenly is one of those people that if you have to be around them, you'll be around them. You can tolerate them, but you wouldn't get too close to them or take them too seriously because Heavenly, she says the most terrible things, right? And she thinks it's cute. She thinks it's cute. She thinks she's joking. And listen, I'm not asking for Heavenly to change. She's too old. I guess that's her personality, right? But I can understand Simone or other people not liking Heavenly and not wanting to be around somebody who always has something negative to say about you, right? Always. So I think they can be cool for the show. I think they can laugh and have a moment. But Heavenly, you have to have a little bit of awareness, right? You have to kind of accept that you're probably not going to be best buddies with this person if you're talking crap about them. Especially now that she is doing YouTube and she does reviews and things like that, which is great for her. It's awesome. But it just adds another layer to her talking crap, right? So I don't think Heavenly has room to be so offended or surprised when the other ladies don't want anything to do with her outside of the show. And if I was them, that's what I would do. When it comes to the show, I can kiki, laugh with her. I know she's going to say shady crap about me in her confessionals and on her YouTube, but that's okay. That's just how she is. But I'm not going to be best buddies with Heavenly. No. Now, with the whole Jackie and Simone. Now, initially, when they were talking about their friendship, they're like, yes, we're in a better place, all kumbaya. And I didn't believe it, right? It didn't seem genuine. And I'm glad that Heavenly and Quad called them out on their bullshit. Like, you guys are not that close. You guys do not talk like that. What are you talking about? Right? Because we all could see it. We all could see it was bullshit. And That's the double-edged sword with Heavenly and Quad. The thing that I dislike about them is also what I like about them, and why I'm glad that Quad came back, and why I also like Heavenly on the show. Because they call people out on their bullshit, right? Because other people would kind of just sit there and smile and not say anything. So you do need people like that on the show. I feel like, I don't know, it is kind of complicated because at the end of the day, Jackie was hella wrong for what she did and how she reacted. Straight up. And I don't know, it depends. Do you want to have a friend that just has your back, not has your back, but is willing to defend you no matter what, even though you're wrong? Or do you want a friend that is able to call you out and let you know, hey, you were wrong for doing that. You need to go and fix it because it's gonna look hella bad. And everybody has their own perspective on that. But I think with the both of them, they want this sort of unrealistic loyalty, right? Maybe in real life it would apply, but when it comes to reality television, I think it's just unrealistic to expect your friend to always have your back, not just silently, right? But like outwardly defend you, and I think that's why Jackie kind of is best buds with Heavenly right now, because Heavenly is sort of like that attack dog. I hate to say it, but she is kind of that attack dog for Jackie. Like, she will openly defend Jackie, right? So maybe to her, Jackie thinks, okay, that's more of a friend. But like, I don't know, that doesn't mean that Simone isn't a good friend to you just because she's calling you out on your misstep. And Simone was completely right. Like, the audience didn't react well. And maybe if Jackie had taken what Simone had said to her, like, listen, this is not you, you need to fix this. If she had listened to Simone, she probably would have came off a lot better to the audience instead of just wanting someone to defend your behavior. So I just think that Dr. Jackie, she needs to let go her ego a little bit, right? And understand that reality television, you know what I mean? It's not maybe a realistic expectation to expect complete loyalty from someone. And I guess the same thing will go with Simone. Jackie is friends with Heavenly. But that doesn't mean that Jackie can control Heavenly, or stop Heavenly from doing what Heavenly does. Like, Heavenly will insult Dr. Jackie as well. That's Dr. Heavenly's personality. And they're all a part of the cast. Dr. Heavenly is part of the cast. You can't expect Jackie to not have a relationship with Dr. Heavenly or not talk to her at all, right? Because yes, they're friends, but they're also co-workers. So I think Simone also has this unrealistic expectation of loyalty. And it's funny because often when people butt heads, it just reminds me of, say, Kenya and Portia. To me, Kenya and Portia, although they're different in a lot of ways, they're very, very similar, right? And they just have this unrealistic expectation for loyalty when it comes to reality television. You're just not going to get that, and you just have to ease up a little bit and just accept what it is. But I do understand that being on reality television, when a big motivator is drama, right? They encourage drama because it's entertaining. It can be really difficult to maintain a relationship. So I do hope that, when they're no longer on the show, they are able to come back together and have that friendship, because they've had so many years of friendship. I would hate to see them just throw it away because of reality television, right? Because it is designed to split you guys apart. And people like Heavenly are encouraged, okay? Their behavior is encouraged. They're encouraged to be messy because people find it cute and entertaining, and I am one of them. But I just hope that they don't take people like Heavenly too seriously, right? Kiki with her on camera, but then off of that, keep your distance. Don't read her tweets. Don't watch her YouTube. When her confessional comes on, fast forward, because you know she's about that mess. Scott, for a doctor, he's pretty damn dumb, right? Or at least he likes to play dumb a lot. He likes to pretend he doesn't know what's going on, and it's getting tired. It's getting really, really tired at this point. So, let's get into it. Andy, he brings the guys on stage. He brings the husbands on stage. And I kind of like that he brought the husbands out without the wives, and he was kind of having a moment with them. I think that's a good addition to the reunion, right? So they start talking about, husband 101 and the rules. And of course, they sort of get into Scott having a picture of another woman on his phone, right? And Curtis was saying, oh, well, Scott has a perfectly good explanation as to why he has that woman's photo in his phone. And I don't really understand what Scott was saying. I don't know if it's the editing. But he starts talking about the life coach and basically how he just made the whole thing up. I guess maybe he felt some sort of way that Contessa got a life coach, so he wanted to get a life coach. Well, not really get a life coach. He just wanted to lie about getting a life coach, which absolutely makes 0 sense to me. 0. And that just right there is a red flag. And it further tells me that Scott, I don't want to judge people. I'm not in their marriage. I don't know. But he seems pretty messed up to me. Pretty messed up and pretty immature. That you can lie so easily on camera. On camera. You can tell a bold-faced lie like that. That doesn't even make sense, right? And then you expect the audience to believe that you don't know how social media works, that you don't get it yet. The scene before, you were saying that you're responding to DMs, that you didn't know what a DM was, but then you later found out, and then you checked your DM and you were responding to other women and the inappropriate pictures they were sending you. So which one is it? Maybe at one point you were naive to it, but at this point, you know what it is. You are on social media. Because even he was like saying, well, I didn't have her picture personally. The lady that he didn't want to hire because she was too attractive, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I feel sorry for that woman that she didn't get the job because she was too attractive. That's completely stupid. But then he goes on to explain where he didn't have the picture that was on her social media. So if you are able to look up this woman on social media, right, and to show the other men, clearly you know how to use social media, right? If you can go and check your DMs and respond to other women and say, wow, damn, yeah, you look good, you know what social media is. You know how to use Instagram. Stop playing, right? Just like you lied about having a life coach, you're lying now. And that's all you do is lie/play dumb. And you're absolutely not fooling anybody at this point. And I don't wish anybody to get a divorce. I really don't. But I think for Contessa's sake, she needs to leave Scott because he's totally, I don't want to say narcissistic because that word is overused to death. But he is appearing to have narcissistic tendencies, right? He's only concerned about himself. He doesn't want to take accountability for his actions, right? I would respect it more if he says, you know what? That was inappropriate for me to show that lady's picture on national television. Even if it wasn't on national television, but especially on national television. That was disrespectful to my wife and I shouldn't have done that, right? Especially after the other men told him, yo, you were totally wrong for that, right? He still doesn't take accountability. If he was to take accountability, then I can say, you know what? Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. We can misjudge certain situations. But the fact that he can't do that, the only thing he can do is play dumb, that just shows me that this person is not in a healthy way. Okay, let's just say that. And Contessa needs to get out of that situation because he's not going to change. So, I mean, this was part 2, even though it felt like part 3. You know, we're going to get another part next week. And it's just like, why couldn't this should have just been 2 parts? Even though a lot of things have went on, I don't really see the need for a 3rd part because I feel like they pretty much talked about everything. You know, they're going to talk to Scott more, but it's not like Scott's going to own up to anything or take responsibility for anything. So I really don't know what the 3rd part is going to be, but whatever. I'm here for it. See you guys.